The UK, a land of majestic castles, rolling hills and vibrant cities, holds a certain allure for many. Tourists flock to see Buckingham Palace, Stonehenge and the Scottish Highlands. Beyond these iconic landmarks lies another side of the UK. This side is marked by complex challenges and hidden struggles. From economic anxieties to social disparities and environmental concerns, we will delve into the issues shaping everyday realities in the UK. Through real-life stories and data, we will shed light on these challenges. This journey uncovers the resilience of the British spirit and the need for collective action. The UK economy, while robust in certain sectors, casts a long shadow of economic hardship on many of its citizens. The cost of living has been steadily rising, outpacing wage growth and placing immense pressure on households. The squeeze is felt most acutely by low-income families and individuals living on fixed incomes. Food banks, once a rarity, have become increasingly commonplace, a stark indicator of the growing number of people struggling to put food on the table. The Trussell Trust, a leading food bank network, reported a significant surge in demand for emergency food parcels in recent years. This trend reflects the widening gap between income and essential living costs. Beyond food insecurity, many face the constant threat of fuel poverty, unable to afford to heat their homes adequately during the colder months. The Joseph Rowntree Foundation, a social policy research charity, estimates that millions of UK households are living in fuel poverty, highlighting the precarious financial situation of many. The economic anxieties of everyday life are a stark contrast to the image of prosperity often associated with the UK. Beneath the veneer of a unified society, the UK grapples with deep-seated social inequalities. The gap between the rich and the poor has been widening, leading to a stark division in opportunities and life outcomes. This inequality is evident in various aspects of British life, from education and healthcare to housing and employment. Children from disadvantaged backgrounds often face an uphill battle in the education system, lacking access to the same resources and opportunities as their more affluent peers. This disparity in educational attainment perpetuates a cycle of inequality, limiting social mobility and reinforcing existing social divisions. Furthermore, access to quality healthcare remains unequal, with those in deprived areas often experiencing poorer health outcomes and facing greater barriers to accessing timely and effective medical care. The COVID-19 pandemic has further exposed and exacerbated these health inequalities, highlighting the urgent need to address the social determinants of health. Despite its image as a green and pleasant land, the UK faces significant environmental challenges. Air pollution levels in major cities remain a serious concern, with detrimental impacts on public health, particularly for vulnerable groups such as children and the elderly. The UK government has faced criticism for its handling of air quality issues, with calls for more stringent regulations and effective enforcement. Climate change poses another significant threat, bringing with it more extreme weather events such as flooding, heat waves, and droughts. These events have far-reaching consequences, impacting infrastructure, agriculture, and human health. The UK, as a signatory to the Paris Agreement, is committed to reducing its carbon emissions, but achieving this target will require significant transformations across various sectors of the economy. Beyond these immediate challenges, there is growing concern about the state of the natural environment, with issues such as biodiversity, loss, deforestation, and plastic pollution demanding urgent attention. Protecting the UK's natural heritage and transitioning to a more sustainable future are paramount to ensuring a healthy and resilient environment for generations to come. The National Health Service, or NHS, a cornerstone of British society, is facing unprecedented strain. Years of underfunding, coupled with increasing demand due to an aging population, have pushed the NHS to its limits. Waiting times have increased and there is a growing shortage of healthcare professionals. The COVID-19 pandemic has further exacerbated these challenges, placing immense pressure on NHS resources and staff. Despite these challenges, the NHS remains a source of national pride, with strong public support for its core principles of universal healthcare. The UK education system, once highly regarded globally, is now under increasing pressure. Funding cuts have had a significant impact on schools and universities, leading to larger class sizes, reduced resources, and a narrowing of the curriculum. Teachers are grappling with heavier workloads and feeling undervalued, leading to concerns about teacher retention and recruitment. The attainment gap between pupils from disadvantaged backgrounds and their more affluent peers remains a persistent challenge. perpetuating social inequalities. While there are initiatives aimed at addressing this gap, more needs to be done to ensure that all children have an equal opportunity to succeed, regardless of their background. Furthermore, the rising cost of university tuition fees has made higher education less accessible for many, raising concerns about social mobility. The debate over tuition fees continues to be a contentious issue, with calls for reform to ensure that higher education remains affordable and accessible to all who have the potential to benefit from it. Section 7 Housing Crisis. Dreams deferred. The UK is in the throes of a housing crisis, characterised by soaring property prices, a shortage of affordable housing, and a growing number of people struggling to find suitable accommodation. This crisis is particularly acute in major cities like London, where the average house price is significantly higher than in other parts of the country. For many young people, the dream of home ownership seems increasingly out of reach. They are forced to rent for longer periods, often paying exorbitant rents that eat into their disposable income and make it difficult to save for a deposit. This situation has led to a generation burdened by housing insecurity and facing an uncertain future. The shortage of social housing exacerbates the problem, leaving vulnerable individuals and families at risk of homelessness. The number of people living in temporary accommodation has been on the rise, highlighting the urgent need for increased investment in social housing and innovative solutions to address the affordability crisis. Section 8, Rural versus Urban Divide, two different worlds. The UK is marked by a stark divide between its urban and rural areas, each facing its own set of unique challenges. While cities grapple with issues such as overcrowding, pollution, and high living costs, rural communities contend with declining populations, limited job opportunities, and inadequate infrastructure. Rural areas often suffer from a lack of access to essential services such as healthcare, education, and transportation. Public transport links are often poor, making it difficult for residents to access employment, education, and healthcare facilities in larger towns and cities. This lack of access can lead to social isolation, particularly for elderly residents and those without access to private transportation. The digital divide is another challenge facing rural communities, with many areas lacking access to reliable and high-speed internet connectivity. This digital disadvantage has significant implications for education, employment, and access to essential services in an increasingly digital world. Bridging the urban-rural divide is crucial to ensuring that all parts of the UK can thrive and that opportunities are more evenly distributed. Section 9. The human cost of austerity. The UK government's austerity measures implemented in response to the 2008 financial crisis have had a profound impact on the lives of many Britons. These measures, aimed at reducing public spending, have led to cuts in essential services, including welfare benefits, healthcare, and education. The consequences of these cuts have been far-reaching, particularly for the most vulnerable members of society. The Joseph Rowntree Foundation reports that millions of people have been pushed into poverty as a result of austerity, with families with children and disabled people disproportionately affected. The human cost of austerity is evident in the rising levels of poverty, homelessness, and food bank use. It has also led to increased demand for mental health services, as people struggle to cope with the stress and uncertainty of their economic situations. The long-term impact of these policies on social cohesion and the well-being of the nation remains a subject of ongoing debate. Section 10 Conclusion. Navigating the complex realities. The UK, despite its many attractions and global standing, faces a complex web of challenges that often go unnoticed amidst the grandeur of its historical landmarks and cultural icons. From economic anxieties to social disparities and environmental concerns, these issues shape the daily realities of millions living in the UK. The stories shared and statistics presented in this essay provide a glimpse into the lived experiences of those navigating these challenges. They highlight the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity, but also underscore the urgent need for collective action to address these pressing concerns. By acknowledging these unseen sides of the UK, we can move towards a more nuanced understanding of this island nation. It is through open dialogue, empathy, and a commitment to social justice that we can strive to create a more equitable and sustainable future for all who call the UK home. The journey towards a better tomorrow requires confronting these challenges head-on, working together to build a society that values the well-being of all its citizens.